so high, gotta hide my face. This not a rockstar face. I'm an emo, thug in my face. 0, 0, 0, 0. Tell her to go chase. Monkey nuts, hold me, baby. I got on 2 chains.
Now, Gears is back in a big way.
No active.
What is this game? What the f was that?
I beg your pardon. This. Push up. Chad, yo, Chad. You got 3, 3, 3. Like you have to.
That was a headshot? Oh, that is a one-shot down?
You hit me from where?
Bruh.
I don't know how that boom shot didn't kill me. Yeah, Gears is back alright, but not in a good way. Imagine me learning a brand new editing software to come back to make better videos for myself and give a better viewing experience to YouTube. And you hear the announcement, Gears of War is coming to PlayStation. I was so hyped to hear this. I was like, I get to play my favorite shooter on PlayStation? Hell yeah, bruh. But what I thought we were getting the Gears of War Trilogy, Gears of War 1 to Gears of War 3. But instead what we got was Gears of War 1. Again.
Shit.
This is the 3rd time this game has been released. You had the original Gears of War 1 from 2006, you had Gears of War Ultimate Edition, the remaster for the Xbox One in 2015, and now we have Gears of War Reloaded, which is basically a remaster of Gears of War Ultimate Edition, so we're basically playing a remaster of a remaster. So here I am gonna have to make another hashtag Jaitiy app session. So without wasting any time, let's talk about Gears of War Reloaded before released. The first thing I want to talk about with Gears of War Reloaded is the marketing for this game, because let me just be honest with you, the marketing for this game was trash. This is the very first time that Gears of War is going to be available on multiple platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Windows, etc. But the way that the Microsoft and the Coalition went about it, it just made it seem like they did not care about this game, bro. The way you even knew this game was coming out was the Gears of War page posted a tweet about a new Gears of War, and they had this Xbox article explaining what Gears of War Reloaded is. When I read it, it was basically like, so this is just Gears of War Ultimate Edition 1.0. The visuals are better, you have better audio, you have 60 Hz servers now instead of 30 Hz servers, the campaign has no loading screens.
Wow.
I mean, I'm supposed to be excited for this. Then you had the Xbox showcase, which I still to this day do not understand why they went this route, right? You have thousands of people watching this event, and this would have been the perfect time to get people excited for Gears of War. And this was also around the time that a lot of Gears of War people were expecting more Gears of War E-Day news, because the only thing we know about Gears of War E-Day so far is that one trailer that they made and then they essentially dipped. But do you want to know what they showed at the Xbox showcase, bruh? They showed the Gears of War Reloaded trailer, and that's it. And the funny thing is, they did not mention anything about a Gears of War Reloaded beta at the end of the trailer. Bro, I was looking like that one icy pic he posted on Twitter, bro, because I was just like, what is wrong with this company, bro? And then the way you had to learn about the beta is that, again, you had to go to the Gears of War Twitter, and then they talked about how to get access to the beta. And the way you had to get access to the beta is pre-ordering a 10-year-old game. Unless you were on Xbox and you purchased the game before the date that they shown that you were actually going to be able to get the game for free. But it had to be a digital copy. If you bought a physical copy, it wasn't going to work. And also, to add on top of this, I find it kind of crazy for the Xbox people who like to collect physical copies of games. There is no physical copy of Gears of War Reloaded, but there is a PlayStation physical copy. Ain't that crazy? Why didn't you just make the beta open so that way for people who actually never experienced Gears of War before, they actually have the opportunity to try it and see what the series is about? So whoever made that decision, you stupid as hell. Because the only reason I got into the beta is because one of my homies who I used to play Gears of War with gave me money to pre-order the game because I would not be in the beta otherwise. Speaking of the beta, remember how in the previous Gears of War games you would actually get beta rewards for actually participating in the beta? Do you actually think we got anything for doing that in Gears of War Reloaded's beta? No. They could have gave you a free gun skin, an exclusive character, something, but they didn't do none of that. And my overall experience with the beta honestly wasn't that great to begin with. Weekend 1, the only thing they really gave you was TDM, and like me personally, I just do not care about playing TDM like that. I'm more of a King of the Hill and Blitz player because that's what I just prefer to play. TDM for Gears of War 1 especially isn't just that good to me. And also for some reason in Weekend 1, they ended the beta mad early on Sunday to the point that hella people got mad about it. To the point in Weekend 2, they were just like, we're going to extend the time and give you guys more modes. So Weekend 2 is a lot better because we got King of the Hill and Execution. And so after Weekend 2 ended and the beta was over, Microsoft and the Coalition essentially went ghost again. I felt like around this time, they could have marketed this game so well to get people more hyped for the game. I mean, when Cliff, Rod, and the original Gears of War team was releasing the original game, they was marketing this game and trying to push this game like crazy to get more people interested in the game. But instead, that didn't happen. But they waited till near release and started uploading on the Gears of War YouTube channel, Gears of War character trailers. And I felt like they could have just done way more. They could have had a mini YouTube series about like Gears of War Bootcamp to teach people the mechanics of how to play Gears of War. Got some passionate Gears of War creators to like really talk about like why they love Gears of War, how they got into the series, why the series means so much to them, etc. Like, I'm just spiraling out ideas of things they could have done along with what they actually did. And especially for one of the character trailers, Dom's in particularly, I don't like how in that character trailer they essentially spoil what happens to him. It's like, did anyone actually review the footage and see what the narrator was saying? Was probably thinking like, huh, wait a minute, we're getting new people here, we probably should have spoiled them on that. But nope, they were just like, oh well. Because at the end of the day, if you're actually going to be making a product, you gotta show people the reason why you're actually giving them something. Because if they see you don't care about what you're doing, they're not gonna care about buying the game in general. Sure, you're gonna have the passionate Gears of War fans who are like really deep into it buy it, but how long will that passion last if they just feel like they're playing the same thing again that they played 10 years ago? And for the new Gears of War players, if they see you're not gonna care about the product that you're selling, why are they gonna care about buying and sticking around when they could just move to the next thing? Think about that for a sec. Now that Gears of War Reloaded has officially came out for everyone, now we're going to be talking about the whole entire game as a whole, and we're going to be talking about the offline modes first. And the first thing I want to speak about is the campaign. Honestly, the campaign is my favorite thing about Gears of War 1. Going back and watching the old videos to watch the 2006 version that was coming out, Cliff, Rod, and the rest of the team was really pushing for what they really wanted this game to be like. Mysterious, gritty, horror, bloody, everything, it just really came together. And you can honestly tell by just watching the trailers they made for the game for the marketing, bro. You can go back and watch those trailers now and it will still give you goosebumps by watching those trailers. And even me playing the Gears of War Reloaded campaign on Insane, I still had a great time with it even though I played this campaign years ago. It really goes to show you no matter how much time goes by, some things can really still hold up about games. With that being said though, there are some things about the campaign that I really wish the Coalition would have done. So in the Master Chief Collection, you have an option with the press of a button to where if you wanted to play the game on the old Halo art style or did you want to play Halo in the current style. I really wish they would have gave us this option in Gears of War Reloaded to where like if you wanted to play the Gears of War Reloaded campaign to how it is currently with the technology now or go back and play the 2006 version. Because personally for me, I'm picking the 2006 version every time because the art style overall and the premise of how the game looks, it just fits it better in that version. Hell, even for me, when I was playing the Gears of War Reloaded campaign, I turned down the lighting, the brightness, and the contrast just to make it close to the 06 version. But let me know how y'all feel about that, because that could just be a me thing. This is also a personal opinion for me. Even though I think some of the characters look great in Gears of War Reloaded, the Gears of War 1 art style for the characters, it just hits different. Like for me, Dom, he looks way better in the 2006 version of Gears of War than to me and how he looks in Gears of War Reloaded. I think he looks fine, but I just prefer 2006 Dom. And also for characters like Baird, Kim, and the Carmine brothers, they no longer have their signature blue color they used to have on the 360 version. Now all of them got like this
darkened color. I kind of prefer if they had their original color back and reloaded, but that's just me again.
But what I'm not a fan of, the Coalition, why in the hell did you not update the AI? This man Dom was frustrating me so much while playing the campaign, bro. This man was always going down, and it especially got annoying in the Brumac fights and the Rom fights. Both of these enemies can kill you in seconds. And you also have to keep in mind, when you are playing the campaign by yourself on Insane and you're not playing with a partner, when you die, you have to reload it and start it all over again. Also, I was playing with my homie Mr. Clean, and no, I'm not kidding, my homie Reggie named himself Mr. Clean Juices, and that shit is funny as hell. Because I was helping him with the campaign on Insane, right? And we was dealing with bugs in the campaign. In the very beginning of the game, when I was going to the location, whatever, Mr. Clean, he couldn't move. He was stuck there. He could not progress, so he had to reload the checkpoint again. Then there was another part of the campaign to where I couldn't switch to any of my weapons, and I was just wasting ammo, and I couldn't pick up ammo or anything. And I was just like, bro, what in the hell? Like, that was my first time playing the Gears of War campaign that I've ever seen that before. I had no idea what was there. And here's the last thing that honestly just makes no sense to me for the campaign for this game. The best thing about Gears of War campaigns is the option to be able to play with people. That makes like the best experience for Gears of War, right? Why do you have the option to host a campaign when nobody can actually join your campaign? I literally hosted a campaign to see if anybody can join, and I saw that absolutely no one joined. Why didn't y'all just make it like Gears of War 3 to where anyone can join your campaign no matter where you are in the campaign? Doesn't that make a lot more sense? Common sense. I don't get it.
But wait, there's more.
They did the PC crowd for Gears of War Reloaded so dirty. So in the Gears of War Reloaded trailer, they actually showed you that this game was going to be split screen, right? The PC version, you cannot do split screen for the campaign. And PC players were not happy about this whatsoever. It even got to the point to where it got so recognizable that they took out the split screen part of the trailer in the PC trailer. And don't even get me started on the fact that the main menu for this game from Ultimate Edition does not change whatsoever, and after you complete the campaign, you can't even select what type of menu you want to select for the main menus. This game is such a joke, it is crazy. Now that I'm done talking about the campaign, I want to talk about one mode in particularly that I really didn't understand why they didn't add to Gears of War 1, especially with new people and returning Gears of War players coming back to play this game, and that is Horde mode. Horde mode is like one of the most celebrated modes from Gears of War 2. And I still remember playing Horde mode for the first time in Gears of War 2, and I really enjoyed myself. And then throughout the years, they just made Horde mode for Gears of War better and better. And this was the mode that a lot of people who didn't like playing the Gears of War multiplayer, they played this mode because it actually gave them something to do. And it taught a lot of people how to get better at Gears of War as a whole, and teaching them how to play the game better by learning the mechanics while playing Horde mode. The Coalition, I have a question. Why didn't you add this? I don't know either. People are going to play the campaign once or twice, and then once they're done with the campaign, they're not going to have nothing to do besides playing the multiplayer. And Gears of War, what I like to call it, is the shooter of fighting games. If you do not know how Gears of War works on the multiplayer side of things, you are getting cooked, my nigga.
Man, that's tough.
This is not a casual friendly game whatsoever. And one thing, people already don't like losing, but having to learn how to properly play a shooter, that's going to frustrate a lot of people. Which brings me to my next point, and this one really confuses me. Why in the hell can you not start a private match by yourself or have a private match with bots? Newer players do not have any way to learn how to play Gears of War at all. You're basically just saying, well, good luck, my nigga. And that is not the way to go about it, bruh. It is the year of 2025. Y'all telling me y'all can't even add the proper feature of just adding bots? I'm sorry, that's just lazy. Which brings me to the last thing about the offline, and that's the accessibility features. Basically talking about the options for the game. Now, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I appreciate the fact that they gave us the option to turn off the camera shake. Now, I know why the camera shake while you're running is originally intended, because it makes you feel the weight of the characters, but By today's standards, that can give people motion sickness and make people sick by looking at the screen. So I'm glad they gave us the option for that. And being able to change the color of the omen, that's actually a pretty neat concept. And 120 frames per second in multiplayer and 60 Hz servers. So I'll give them that. Now the rest, no. By today's standards, the options that you have for this game for option settings is absolutely awful. Why isn't there a field of view slider for this game, aka FOV? Mostly every single game I have played by this point has a FOV slider. Hell, I'd even play Gears 5 and they even said in Gears 5 there's a FOV slider. Like, come on bruh, just add it to Gears Reloaded. Next, there's no dead zone settings. So I'm on PS5 and I would love to have options for my analog sticks to be able to change my dead zone settings to make the game feel a lot better. But this game has absolutely nothing for it. The sensitivity for the game. Now, let me just say this. My last Gears of War game that I played was Gears of War 4. I played that game on all 26s just because Gears of War 4 was a very responsive and fast game. Going from Gears of War 4 to this game, all 30s on this game is turtle speed slow. You need to give us options to where we can go to like max of 50 or something because it just feels way too slow to play with. And last but certainly not least, I have this option for every single game that I play, especially for a shooter because it is very important information. I would love to have ping information when I'm playing in the lobbies that I'm playing in, just to see if I can actually stay in this lobby or not, or if I can just leave and back out because I'm like, hell no, this shit's ass. Because there's so many times when I'm playing this game to where people are just teleporting on my screen. And that is something that happens pretty constantly. On console, there is absolutely no way to change it. It just always happens. So I would love to have information of the game about what's going on. This game be tripping.
Bring it on, sucker. This my kind of shit.
We made it to the crash out section of the video. So now we made it to the Gears of War Reloaded online section. And let me just warn y'all in advance. If I start getting really pissed off in this section, it's for a really good cause. Because I know this game can get way better than it does. But again, laziness. So I'm going to put something on your screen real quick. This is the game modes from Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And this is the game modes for Gears of War Reloaded. They changed absolutely nothing. I can honestly tell when Xbox uploaded that Xbox deep dive and they brought those two people from the coalition over to talk about Gears of War Reloaded, they just did not have any passion. I could just tell they just did not care about putting this game out, because there is so much about the multiplayer modes that you could have easily fixed to give us a better experience. You could have gave us a mini version of free-for-all. You could have gave us Horde that I talked about earlier. You could have gave us Wingman. You could have taken out Assassination for Guardian, because Guardian from Gears of War 2 is a way better mode anyway than Assassination. Because let me ask y'all something real quick. Do anyone on this game play Assassination on Gears of War Reloaded? No? Nobody? I thought so. Also, we're not going to talk about how on the competitive playlist for Gears of War Reloaded, the only game modes here is Execution and 2v2 Dashers. Bro, you're telling me you could have added some other game modes here? I could easily see Blitz and other things being here, but you honestly just decided not to do it. That is just so weird to me. And I'm also going to talk about how Gears of War Reloaded's multiplayer experience feels absolutely trash. And I already know there's going to be someone in the comments saying,
"Oh, well, Jaitiy, it's just a skill issue, isn't it?" Pow.
It is not a skill issue. So first, I want to talk about the lobbies, because I feel like the lobby system that they have here is just very outdated. One thing I'm not really a fan of about the lobby system is when you join a game, you finish a game, and then after the game is over, you return back to that same lobby again. I am not really a fan of that. I like how the later Gears of War games do it, especially the way Gears of War 4 does it. After the game is over, it gives you the option to be able to choose the map and choose whatever game mode you would like to play. I would have loved to see that for this game, because having to go back to the lobby again, it's just, ugh. Especially the fact this game, you can't even switch teams, or you can't even randomize teams either. Also, they needed to give an option to the player in the setting to where if you want to hide your level or not, because there is so many times that people saw my level and they literally left because of how high of a level I was. And the matchmaking for this game is so bad. I don't know how your guys' games went, but bro, it feels like every time I play Gears of War Reloaded, bro, I don't know if it's because of my stats or because of like the game looks of my level or something. I always feel like it's basically me against the other team in a 1v4, because the people I get usually are essentially new Gears of War players who have never touched the Gears of War multiplayer before. It seems like they just finished the campaign and have no idea what's going on in the multiplayer side of things. And this happens to me almost every single game. They should have had a playlist in this game for like brand new players to where until they reach to like, I don't know, level 25 or level 30 to go against people of their skill level, so that way they just understand how the Gears of War multiplayer works, just so they can clearly know what's going on when playing the multiplayer. Because my goodness. And I'm especially fighting for my life because it feels like most of the time Gears of War Reloaded, it does not work. Why does the boom shot feel like the most useless power weapon on this game? You could literally line your shot up absolutely perfectly and you're not going to get the kill. And even at times when you use an active reload, it's not going to kill them, it's just going to down them. I have an active reload, it should kill them! Why does the long shot act on its own at times? One time it's completely fine, the next time you know for a fact you got a headshot, but for some reason the bullet goes in the completely other direction. Why at times if you shoot the snub pistol so fast, your gun is going to start shooting by itself? As you can see with this clip from Anya, I'm not even pressing the R2 button on my PlayStation controller and she's shooting by herself. Why is the Lancer so strong in this game? It did not feel like this in Ultimate Edition or Gears of War 1. Why does the Gnasher feel the way it does in this game, bro? I honestly feel like in the beta, they should have just kept it how it was, because I know the beta Gnasher had issues, but at least to me, I was actually cool with it for what it was. Because with the Gnasher we have now, it is so RNG. You'll randomly get one shot down, you'll randomly one shot down someone else. You can sneak up on somebody without them even knowing, and you know you hit your shot, but it still didn't kill them. And speaking of which, the audio is so bad on this game, the amount of times of people who constantly snuck up behind me and I couldn't hear them, shit was crazy. And there are times to where it feels like you're shooting the enemy more than they shoot you, but you're the one that goes down. Because with the Gnasher battles in this game in particular, you honestly don't know what's going to happen in this game, honestly, because it's just so random. Or how about the fact when you get someone down but not out in this game, when you shoot somebody with the Gnasher when they're on the floor and you know you shot them and they don't die? Amazing! Why does every lobby that I play in this video game feel like I am playing on a toaster even though I'm using LAN? And don't get me started about how much your characters get stuck on this game. That gets me tilted. Or how about when you're playing in the middle of a match, you'll suddenly just get kicked out of the match and get put back in the main menu again. Or when you're playing a match, your game will randomly just crash. I've been playing alternate control scheme for a very long time, but on this game, it is so bad. So you're probably wondering, JD, why does alternate suck? Well, the reason that it sucks is because number one, you have roadie runs delay. So when you take cover on an object at times, your character doesn't start sprinting immediately. They have a delay before they actually start running. And this has gotten me killed so many times. And also, because your point of view is on the right analog stick, there are going to be times to where you are in the battle with someone and you barely, and I mean barely, click in the right analog. And when you do click in the right analog, it makes your gun flip a whole other direction. That's going to get you killed. So some alternate players, they don't even zoom in with their weapons, which for a lot of players, that's a big no-no. King of the Hill in this game, or any Respawn game mode in general in this game, is so bad. I cannot tell you how many times when playing King of the Hill that when I'm just going to an area of the map, the enemy team is randomly spawning right in front of me. GG's, I guess. And there's so many times to where you die to where the respawn timer, it is just like so random depending on the map you're playing on. Some moments you get in very quickly, and then other maps it takes a whole eternity to come back. And honestly speaking, because of playing King of the Hill, I do not like playing a lot of Gears of War maps on this game. And I'm going to put all those maps on the screen just to show you. Honestly speaking, I feel like if you're not playing Execution or Warzone on this game, you're not really going to have a good time on the multiplayer aspect. But that's just my opinion, bruh. Why couldn't we get any more characters that wasn't in Ultimate Edition or Reloaded? Bernie, Ty, Valera, Barrick, the Gears 3 variants of these characters, Scourge, and Mira. I don't know why she's not a playable character. You literally see her at the end of the campaign when you finish it. And for the re-up system, you're better giving us like different colors of like Gears Omen or something, because the re-up system we have in this game is ugly as hell. Also with frag grenades, there are times to where you won't even be near the frag grenade and your character will still get stunned. And also when people try to tag you with a frag grenade and they clearly miss and you still get stuck with the grenade, that needs to be changed. And last but certainly not least, give a reason for people to play your game. The reason why Gears of War 3 was so loved by the Gears of War community is because there's always something to do in that game because of how robust the system was by just playing the game. They had ribbons to unlock, characters to unlock, weapon skins to unlock, etc. Versus Gears of War Reloaded, I already reached the final re-up, I already got the Seriously trophy, I already reached top of the leaderboards for King of the Hill because that's all I played. There's really nothing else for me to do. The Coalition, it's been 10 years and this is the best you can come up with? Like, come on, bruh. So the last thing I want to say before I end this video off, I want to talk about the upcoming Gears of War game that's coming out, Gears of War E-Day. This is the game that me and hella Gears of War fans is looking forward to because I've always wanted to see a Gears of War on Emergence Day. But I'm not gonna lie, with the way the Coalition has treated Gears of War Reloaded, I'm honestly scared of how they're gonna treat Gears of War E-Day. Because these devs, it feels like we are really getting like no communication from them. And with a brand new release for Gears of War E-Day, especially because I believe the game is going to be coming on PlayStation, communication with your community in today's climate, it is important as hell. And also the fact we haven't gotten anything about Gears of War E-Day besides that one trailer that they shown that people have seen plenty of times by now. But the one thing that really scares me about this game is that logo right there, Unreal Engine 5. Every single game that has come out with Unreal Engine 5 when it has released has ran like absolute dog shit.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
I'm praying The Witcher 4 does not go through that, bruh. I truly hope that the Coalition is paying attention to everything that's going on with Gears of War Reloaded so they can make Gears of War E-Day the best game it can be, because honestly, this community is like one of the most passionate communities I've ever seen. But it's going to come to a point to where if the community feels like they're not being heard, the devs are not communicating with them, and if the devs are not really caring about making this series better for everyone, people are just going to leave and just go to something else. And I do not want that to happen for Gears of War. Again, Gears of War is one of my favorite shooters of all time. So if anybody in the dev team or Microsoft is listening to me, please give Gears of War E-Day the same treatment that Cliff, Rod, and everybody who worked on the original back in the day gave the original Gears of War. Gears of War E-Day is going to be the make or break for this series entirely. This is really the opportunity to show the community and everybody who's passionate about this series what you learned from the mistakes of Gears of War 4 and Gears 5. It is very important that you give this game the love it deserves. Because the way that Gears of War Reloaded is treated, I'm going into this game with very low expectations. I'm going to say it again. I honestly felt y'all should have just did the Gears of War 1 through 3 trilogy to give people what they really wanted. $40 for a game that basically originally released in 2006, and this game being a remaster of a 10-year-old game, it honestly just feels like a ripoff at the end of the day. I just don't see people playing Gears of War Reloaded for that long. I did not want to come back making a video like this, but hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to call something out when I call it out, and I'm always going to be honest. And Microsoft, the Coalition, y'all need to do better next time.